It's not working.
All right, Drago, I'm gonna need you to sing the intro. Psych, just joking.
No.
Damn. Rugged by Drago to kick this show off. Propitious start. Or not. We'll see what happens. What up, y'all? Mic check real quick. Am I crispy or am I in the veggie drawer?
You sound great.
Five.
All right, Drago, are you confident you can get things sorted in 69 seconds?
Working on it.
All right, let the man cook, is what the audience seems to be saying. So let's fill this empty start with some commentary on religion.
Thank the Lord it's Thursday and we meet each other again. The WIP crew is ready for this virtual event. The seas might be rough but we will have a jolly time. Is everybody here? Are the avatars in line? There's so much going on in the NFT world. It seems like uncharted sea. Let Matthew and Rizzle guide us through. The speaker is ready and so are we. Let's keep sailing on the metaverse. Thursdays when the lightning strikes. So listen up, there's a lot to learn. Keep the treasure in your sight. Please no one get the veggie draw. Just upgrade your microphone. Together we're strong, we ain't gonna stop. Welcome to the WIP Meetup.
Boom. There we go. That's more like it. Thank you for sorting that, Drago. And thank you for everyone for bearing with me my awkward soliloquy earlier. This is Matthew, aka Nifty Time. The WIP is officially started now. Shout out to Fox Yoga for holding it down with a great set earlier. Was really getting into it, actually, too much so. Excited for today. Aavegotchi takeover. Thrax is in the house. We're going to be diving into a couple new games. Easy had shared the client download links earlier. If you haven't downloaded them, do that. Get ready for a little bit later. Before we get started, though, the gang is all over on Warpcast, Farcaster, all those things, and so is the WIP. So if you're on Farcaster, Warpcast, Supercast, whatever, follow the WIP Meetup. We're right there in the channels. We have the dankiest GIF. Shout out to Trip Yogi, wherever he may be. And also follow the WIP fam. You're going to see a bunch of people on the channel. Give them all follows. Obviously, everyone in the WIP fam is super solid. And then, yeah, we'll probably do something with frames. Everyone's like, when frames with the WIP over there. So we'll cook something up, maybe, after we figure out what the hell we're doing over there. Outside of that, other shill, yeah, make sure you start streaking if you haven't been doing that. Getting more streakers over there, and we're doing like betting, because if you have on-chain points, like why not make bets on the future state of those on-chain points or something like that. So there's a free, like, low entry to barrier Twitter-based bet going on. Go over there, guesstimate what you think the final streaker count for today will be, and we'll airdrop a whole bunch of SP, which is useless and worthless still. Outside of that, excited for the show and really excited to get things started. So with that, without further ado, we'll pass the mic to my dude, hype master of the metaverse himself, Rizzle, who's also Rizzle on Farcaster, by the way.
I am Rizzle on Farcaster. I made the leap. I still don't know what I'm doing. So people keep asking us when frames are going to happen, and we're all like, yeah, we should do it. Nobody has any idea what to do or how to do it. If anyone has any suggestions, please hit us up. Let's see, a couple housekeeping things. Reminder, if you were here a few weeks ago and got a meme on from Meme Explorers, you can feed it. You can also power it up on Tendies, which I realized after talking to Johan after my meme on was getting murdered by like everybody. And I launched my own stupid competition for people to lose to me. So if you're still fighting meme-ons and you take an L from me, boost my meme-ons thing, I minted this Rizzle block meme-on powered up on Tendies, which mine now is in theory, but I'm still taking some L's. Anyway, come fight my meme-on. I'll give you a thing. We need a fake Rizzle for next week. I won't be here in the rare Rizzle absence. I don't even know if I've ever, I think maybe it happened once where I missed a whip where it occurred that I wasn't there, but we need a fake Rizzle or a collection of fake Rizzles to pull off a dope whip next week that I'm going to be very sad to miss at Snail's Pirate Adventure. And we got A.L. Crago in the house. So it should be a dope one. Definitely turn out for that. I'm going to catch the recording, which actually is a great time to bring up our YouTube channel, which is slowly growing. Please check it out. I've been posting classic whip videos on there. There's only like 3 up there now. But I got access to Paradox's archives, and I'm just going, 1 or 2 a week in chronological order, digging back from like the earliest stuff I can find. And it's like great content, honestly. Like some of it's like really fascinating to listen back on and everything. So there's like a ton of stuff in there. Yeah, it's like a trip down memory lane. So check it out, and I don't know, I'm having fun with it. And we also post our weekly meetings up there via the Twitch live stream. So I'll be checking that out next week after I miss y'all, unfortunately. But I'll get to see Fake Rizzle by proxy. Let's see. If you haven't been here in a while, we're in the general channel of the Discord here. So make sure you're in general. That's where all the links are going to be dropped. That's where, all the conversation is going on. That's where we'll be sort of anchored as we travel from Hyperfi into some of these Gotchiverse games that should be awesome. I've checked them out briefly, but wanted to save some of the magic to experience it with you. If you do not want to download things or you aren't able to get in for one reason or another, we're going to be cross-streaming it into Hyperfi here on the big Twitch screen right above the stage, sort of like we did last week with Nifty Island. So no need to miss out on the action. If you are able to get in, we got some fake gotchis up for grabs as prizes. I got a few that I've been hanging on to. The fake fake ROLF, fake, you know what I'm saying, chain. It's up on the stage of the GIF. Somehow I'm on there because it was an on-chain chain derivative, but Miguel Gares made it. So we got a few of those up for prizes. We got a few other fake gotchis up for prizes that Thrax is throwing in the mix. So come try and game with us in the Gotchiverse. We're going to somehow make Order Out of Chaos and select some winners after today. Also, make sure you sign the guest book, which I'm going to grab the link to. It's on the stage. If you are in World, which you should be, and you see the giant voxel Gotchi-inspired ghost riding the skateboard, that's the gift for everybody who signs the guest book today, from Fabiano and Patrizia, who've been cranking these out every week. So if you've been signing it in the past, check your hidden folder on OpenSea. Sometimes they land there. Definitely sign it this week. If you signed it last week and you haven't checked, you got some flies in there from Fly Frog. So make sure you're breeding tadpoles. And if you need more details on that, just hit any of us up. If you're in Hyperfi for the first time in a while and you have no idea what's going on, if you look at the stage, there will be a big Twitch screen up there. You can fly by double tapping spacebar. You can dance by typing /dance. There's a bunch of vehicles you can ride around on. I don't know that anyone's cleared the 4 wizards that I staged in the ramps, facing the stage. But good luck with that. I sort of threw them in there to see what happened. If you have a question for Thrax while this is going on, either before or after we're gaming, direct those at Show in the chat box. He will relay those to Thrax after Thrax is done telling us all the good things that Gotchi's been cooking up. And I think that's about everything. I'm going to drop one more link to our link tree, which is slowly getting populated and filled out and rounded out. I just realized we don't have our Farcaster on there, so I got to add that. But trying to do a better job getting word out and getting our things out there because, like I said, I've been looking through Paradox's archives, man. We got years and years and years of weekly incredible content and speakers and like all this stuff. And we got to do a good job of getting it out there. So check us out. Stick around for a group shot towards the end with Paradox. After that, we'll wrap the event, kick it over to Show for the afties, and call it a day. It's going to be a dope one, so hang out. Last but not least, this is the WIP. We're like Metaverse Public Broadcasting. We've been serving up alpha on weekly basis for Web3 projects. We're now in our 5th year. If you donate to the WIPmeetup.eth, it will get chopped up for our incredible crew via 0x splits. There's links on the stage and QR codes and like all this shit all over the place. If you talk to anyone, they'll point you in the right direction. If you are interested in donating a very substantial amount of money to fund the WIP success for many years to come and become a Metaverse legend, you can see Matt for details. He won't rug you. You could also talk to me, and I probably won't rug you either. We are also completely shameless. If you have stuff you want to give out or incorporate in some way in our events, we love to give shit out, and we love free stuff as well. So give us your stuff, send us your money, and we're going to keep doing dang stuff week in, week out, regardless. Shout out to everyone who makes this happen week in, week out. Foxy Yoga, Easy Paradox Show, Dragonate, Conwolf the Stowaway, Brookhawk the Chef, Fabiano, Patrizia, Fractilians, Johan, Pat Ziggy, Matt, Metageist. Thank you all so much. With that, we got off to a slightly janky start, but a quick recovery. Let's see how the hot potato microphone passes over to Thrax. And while we're listening to Thrax, feel free to hop in World and drive around and enjoy the Gotchi snow and scenery. Thrax, man, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Good, dude. A little quiet on my end, but it might just be me.
I mean, no, it should be fine. I don't know why it would be quiet.
Cranking your volume up. Yeah, people are saying it's a little bit low, man, but it's hearable on my end. Quiet.
Scream, please.
Oh, dude, that worked. Whatever you just did.
All right. Sweet. Sorry, guys. I'm
No,
using
that's
a
great.
on-cam mic, so it's like a little finicky. All right. So, where to start, man? It's been a while. First of all, like, nice job setting up this area. This is awesome. I'm super distracted. Like, looking around and seeing all this stuff. I wish we could have gotten the Gotchi VRMs working, but unfortunately we couldn't do that in time. But what has changed with Aavegotchi? As you can see, Gotchis have changed significantly. Like, they used to be just cute pixel art guys. We shifted, we rebranded our whole image to move towards the 3D ready model. And we're actually like almost done with the we've got a progress bar situation going on with the wearables basically. And as we're updating them, we're upgrading them for people, and you can use them in game. Like, you can technically, they'll affect you in game already based on what's equipped, but as they're upgraded, you'll actually see them physically in game, which is awesome. And obviously, we closed the bonding curve last year. For those of you who don't know, the bonding curve is what was supporting the token price of Ghost for since its inception. And we closed the bonding curve essentially the day that DAI depegged, which was it was the day DAI depegged. It wasn't. I'm not essentially, like, there's no exaggeration there. That was actually like wild to watch unfold in real time. But as a result, we essentially have raised, I don't know, 50 million or something in capital, and we went and hired a team of like crack devs to come in and build these games for us. And Spirit Force is under Andy Tudor, and he's done things like Need for Speed and a whole bunch of things. And he's insane, man. He's super powered this dev team. We came up with this vertical battle royale that you guys will play in a minute that really twists, fighting in general, because you can fly around like fairly easily. And there are liquidator monsters that roam around that upgrade if you kill them, so please try not to kill them. And then we've got Gotchi Guardians, which is another twist on like a tower defense game. You are the tower, basically. Like, you need to survive. And leading that team is Jason Slamo, who's another powerhouse. He comes from things like The Witcher. He was lead on Gwent, if you guys remember Gwent in the game, which kind of like sucked more people in than some of the original, like the main storyline actually. But like, long story short, guys, it's been an insane year of many things launching, including a whole bunch of community games, which Rizzle was kind enough to put a few assets in from. Like, if you look, the gigantic mechs, those are from my game, which will be coming out hopefully next month for testing, which is a mech based, like, it's called Mechagotchis. And you pilot these things and fight each other in a Gotchiverse themed environment, which is fully destructible. So that's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's my intro.
I'm typing out a question for Show as I'm trying to unmic and throw the mic over to Show. I know people have been throwing some questions at him as things are going on here. Show, you want to hit him with a few questions?
Hey y'all, how's my audio?
Some nice music going on in the background.
That's some Guardians music, man.
Yeah, I think that was Nate. Hey y'all, how's my audio?
Pretty good, man.
All right. Hey Thrax, welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Good to be here, man. It's always a
Yeah,
pleasure.
Shout out to the entire Aavegotchi squad. You're seriously the OGs. So you know what it is. You know what it's like. You've seen the ups. Or is incredible. We have a demand from Easy in Crypto. He says that he wants the Aavegotchi VRMs, and he wants you to promise it in blood for next time. So next time you show up, yeah, you have to sign a contract, a smart contract in blood, stating that you will deliver.
Maybe. That's Gotchi blood, basically. That's the best I can do.
Yeah.
I'll sign it in Drax's blood.
Yo.
yeah. Kill him first. Take his blood.
Who's gonna do it if you kill me?
They'll clone you with an AI LLM, and the LLM will keep making Aavegotchis, and also fun games involving Aavegotchis. And also I have a demand too. I want an Aavegotchi. It's been years. I've never been able to get one. Someone send me your worst Aavegotchi that you hate, and that's awesome. We also have a question from Hidden Forces. He would like to know, how was funding raised for Gotchi Guardians, and who were the partners involved?
No, that's the beauty of Aavegotchi, man. We don't have VC funding. The way we did it was we launched the token, which was Ghost, which is backed by the bonding curve. The bonding curve was bootstrapped by one of our partners, which is Aave. And then essentially people could invest in the game with a relatively stable token. And then when we closed the bonding curve, that basically means that we capped the supply of Ghost. So Ghost's supply was fluid based on its price. So the bonding curve is basically a calculation that if Ghost's price goes down a certain amount, it buys Ghost and keeps the price up. And if it goes up a certain amount, it sells Ghost and keeps the price, stable. We don't want it to skyrocket. We didn't want a hockey stick type of thing. So when we capped the price of Ghost, essentially at that point, we are now funded. We've got Ghost and we've got DAI, and they're not fluctuating anymore. And the DAO has access to these as well, so
That's awesome. Speaking of Ghost and DAI and tokens, Stani doesn't talk to me, but that's okay because I have Matthew and Rizzle to speak on my behalf if I ever want to discuss anything involving Aave in the future. Rizzle would like to know, well, actually he's curious to hear about the potential incorporation of any other native currencies from the 2D Gotchiverse, or any other currencies other than Ghost and DAI or Aave.
So incorporate them where? Because we've got a whole bunch of tokens and they are going to be used pretty much everywhere.
Well, what are use cases?
Okay, I'll give you examples, right? So one is one that Mycelium shared right there. There's alloy and there's glitter that are used. These are used for forging. So when you forge an item, like a wearable, essentially we came up with this, well, I say we, the community came up with this awesome system where basically you can smelt a wearable. So we had this problem. I'll back up a little bit. We had this problem where OGs, invested in this game. They bought a bunch of wearables and things, and we want to be able to change the wearables without devaluing the assets. So we don't want to just constantly be adding more wearables. So what we came up with was this system where you can smelt wearables down to their core components, which are alloy, schematics, and cores. And then you can reconfigure them to create new wearables without devaluing the base assets. So alloy would be one of those tokens that you're talking about that has that use case. Glitter has a different use case, which is it essentially represents time in the Gotchiverse. So if you're going to forge something, it takes a set amount of time, but if you want to speed it up, you can use glitter. It's also paid out for staking. The other tokens, we've got FUD, FOMO, Alpha, and KEK. Those are Alchemica tokens. And those are used, they're farmed in the Gotchiverse from your parcel, and they're used for construction of installations and things. And down the line, like right now, there's no real uses of the tokens in the games because they just launched, they're in alpha. So once the blockchain stuff is enabled and everything's connected, like there is some blockchain stuff enabled, but it's not fully enabled. Once it's fully enabled, you'll be able to spend all of that in game to buy, potions and like in-game liquidator, sentry type things and weapons and all kinds of stuff. So they're basically gaming tokens, but you can either buy them or you can play the game to farm them.
I'm curious about one more thing. In regards to the alloy token and breaking down the wearables to their base, without losing value, does that mean that the wearables are mutable now and that you're changing them within the contract and these changes are cosmetic?
No. So what that means basically is that when you smelt a wearable, you're burning that token and you're removing that wearable from supply. And then when you recombine them into something else, it remints the wearable as whatever the wearable is. So you would need to combine, for example, if I'm going to, smelt a sword, you would get a hand core, which is like, because it's a hand item. And then you would get the schematic for that sword and you would get some alloy. But obviously there's a little bit of burn in there so that it's a long-term beneficial for all the token prices, but not enough that it's like painful yet. But when you recombine those assets and you forge them into, let's say like a mustache or something, you would need a mustache schematic, you would need a face core, and you would need alloy enough to do that. And then once you put them together, it would mint a mustache based on the contract. There's nothing immutable about the original wearables. They're still as they are.
Cool. If there are no further questions at the moment, why don't we try out some of these games, or if any other questions are, while we're shoving people into the game.
Rizzo, I got one for you just because I keep hearing you guys talk about SP. So this is my Callium here. So the whole little thing with the Aavegotchis is they're like little DeFi piggy banks, right? They got Spirit Force, and that's how you summon them from their portals to get them on chain. That Spirit Force are deposited tokens into the Aave platform. So something that we've toyed around with and played with before is what would it take and what would it look like if we were to allow Aavegotchis to potentially invoke an alternate Spirit Force altogether. So what would it take to basically make this SP Gotchi? So it's something that we're thinking about, and that's an easy way for us to potentially onboard other communities or bring some crossover interaction.
Yo, awesome, and appreciate you chiming in. There will be time for questions and any other points that come up along the way at the end here. But why don't we sample some of this stuff while we're chilling here? We're going to give Gotchi Guardians a shot first. My understanding is the game takes roughly 10 minutes or so. So while we're heading in there, if you've downloaded the link, I believe start opening it. But I'm going to pass the mic open to Thrax. So maybe just give us like a small overview of Gotchi Guardians while people are booting it up and tell us how to get to where we're trying to get to. But that's where we're going now. And if you can't get into Gotchi Guardians, stick around in Hyperfi because we're going to attempt some cross metaverse stuff, and Dragonate's going to try and stream it in world here, so you can check it out, even if you're just on the sideline here. So I'm going to boot up and quick toss the mic over to Thrax and tell us what we're getting into, man, and how to get set up so we can do the thing.
Yeah, so you're going to want to boot it. You might get that you're probably going to get that warning that says run anyway or not, because we don't have the certificates done yet, but run anyway. And then make sure you put your name in so that we know who we're fighting. There's going to be right in the lobby, and you can change to the right of your name. You can change your character. I tend to choose the witch in Guardians just because the fire looks really cool. And then click play online. I would leave tutorial enabled just so that you can see what's going on. The main goal of this game is to build as many towers and enemies as possible. When you build an enemy, your enemies, like the players who are playing against you will also see that enemy on their map. So you can wreak havoc on them. The other thing is on the right of the screen, you'll be able to click and see other people's games, other people's maps, basically. So you can plan based on their defenses. So make sure you build towers to defend yourself and enemies to get money, basically. And then in the bottom left, there's a shop that lets you buy upgrades. I highly recommend the ranged upgrade at least, but there's a whole bunch that are really good. We can get more specific if people have questions, but oh, I see a nice full lobby in here, man. All right, looks like we're starting.
So Thrax, I think you got the first 8. I do have a second lobby open as well. I'll keep resetting the timer and let this one be a second room if it fills up.
Beautiful. Thanks, man. So like I'm putting a bunch of enemies on the sides right now.
Show there's no links to specific rooms. Since the first room filled up, it already deployed, so the second room is the only available room. So if you fire it up and you hit play online, you'll default into my lobby. I'll keep resetting the clock timer. There's a 60-second clock timer that auto starts the round if it doesn't fill up already, but the host can continuously reset that in the meantime.
I'm gonna screen share to. Oh, never mind. Oh, I'm getting wrecked here, man. I'm always at a disadvantage playing live.
Oh, Ballistic Banana, you and I just got we got client timed out there. So good try though. Thanks for hanging out with me.
I didn't take my own advice and buy the range stuff. Oh, they added a whole bunch of stuff. This is the thing, man. I don't have time to play our games. Like, and granted, like I play them, but not as much as I want to. And these guys ship so fast.
Yeah, show. Yeah, absolutely. It's a client download. This is all standalone. All right, we got Paradox in room here now as well. 3 in the second lobby, still just hanging on. Sounds like that first game's going well. I got lots of resources getting demanded here. Is the Hyperfi stream working well for friends to be able to see that live round right now?
I don't see anything.
Perfect. Yeah. Sounds like the Hyperfi is good and clear. Nice.
Where are we looking in Hyperfi?
Again, when you're hosting Thrax, it becomes a lot of plate spin, right? Just play a game.
Actually, I had to refresh the Twitch screen in Hyperfi wasn't working for me until refresh, but now it should be broadcasting. So if you didn't see it pop up automatically, a refresh in Hyperfi should get you to see. In the meantime, my farmer is getting wrecked by a whole bunch of things in round 2 here.
I dropped little tips as we're waiting for the second round here to fill up as well. So remember, your Gotchi can obviously move around. That's a very strategic positioning to try to place yourself on the playboard correctly. Y'all will notice there's a bridge on that left upper portion of the map. That bridge is buildable. And that bridge is built on everybody's map at the same time. So if you build it on your map, it gets built on all maps and provides different routes for the enemies to potentially find your friends. You can also pay to have that bridge destructed if someone builds it and you're not happy with it. You can upgrade all of your towers. There's lots of different routes to upgrade them. There's power upgrades as well as function upgrades. The bulls do have quite the impression on people, so pay attention to those bulls. They also have an ability to change how much you're earning each round, because how much you earn each round dictates how much you can build and how much you can outpace your opponents. The last major thing that most people takes a little bit of break in to kind of understand is at the very top of the battlefield, y'all will notice the summoning stations for the enemies themselves. You can actually click on those summoning stations and you can summon enemies. You pay money to summon enemies that'll enter everybody's playboard, but you actually receive per round monetary incentives for paying to summon those enemies. So you can actually increase your per round earnings quite a bit by unleashing hell. Rizzle, if you are dead, it's not completely over, friend. You, from the graveyard, have the ability to sell all of the towers that you built. If you click on them on your game map, you'll see them as the ability to sell, and you can increase your treasury one last hurrah. And then typically you can summon enemies and spend the rest of that cash to summon enemies and try to make life a little bit harder for whoever's still left.
Dude, that's awesome. I took a break so I was able to focus for a second and ask y'all some questions while people are still playing and everything. Because this is dope, dude. I hadn't tinkered around with it much. I've played games like this before, and I'm like a sucker for them. It's like, you know, it scratches that itch for me. Now that I have played with it and heard you talk a little bit about it and some of the mechanics behind it, I'm curious about like just some of the nuts and bolts of how it is. And apologies if you covered this, like just basically how it's tied to the like your existing Aavegotchi and Web3 in general and that ecosystem, or how it plans to be in the future. Yeah, and just what the Web3 end of this all is or is going to be.
I love you, Rizzle, because you asked the right questions, man. This is very much an early version of a game concept. This is built by Pixelcraft. You'll be familiar with Pixelcraft Studios as the birthers and the parent organization of Aavegotchi, and the DAO is the funding side and the decision-making side, but Pixelcraft is the really kind of the brains of the whole ops. And so they're building Gotchi Guardians, they're building Spirit Force Arena, they're building all these products for us to kind of just keep the whole project moving forward, show us the inspiration that we want to see with our assets, give us some ability to start to see the interaction opportunities. But as of right now, today, Gotchi Guardians does not require any Aavegotchi assets to play. You don't need Ghost Token, you don't need an Aavegotchi in your wallet, you don't need a Web3 wallet to play this game right now. It's a standalone client. The same is going to be true for Spirit Force Arena in its current iteration. There is no need to own a fake Gotchi. There's no need to have an Aavegotchi. There's no need for Ghost Token. There's nothing about the Web3 interactions that's gated right now from these games. And so right now the concept is to provide the opportunity for people to see what an Aavegotchi game could even look like, as well as introduce what the heck an Aavegotchi even is. And then from here, as a community like you, we are very hungry to see Pixelcraft's approach to how we're going to integrate our assets into this workflow and what that's going to look like. There's potions, there's Alchemica. Thrax was alluding to a lot of different ecosystem tokens that we have. So there's a lot of opportunities to create some syncs, create some gates, create some tournaments, create some entries, and some regurgitation in this ecosystem. So there's a vision on the horizon that will include as much as we possibly can. But as of right now, it's definitely a standalone demonstration of our ecosystem's culture and lore and character IP, more so than the actual nuts and bolts of our assets.
That being said, though, like everything is planned to be essentially you can play for free if you want to, but it's better to play with an Aavegotchi. That's the general ethos.
Yo, I'm watching. It's pretty cool, man. Watching the gameplay on Hyperfy here, and I gotta say, dude, it runs smooth. You know, we've seen this in a couple of things we've done over the past few months where we don't normally enter client-based stuff just because it tends to be a barrier to entry. But I think everyone's getting more accustomed to it, and also knowing that it delivers a very smooth experience, including this one. It's sort of hard for me to see. Is there an easy way to pick a last Gotchi standing or last few Gotchi standing in this game, or what's the best way to pick some winners today? Do you think?
I would say pick from the last 5 or something at random, just so that it's not who had the most practice wins.
Cool. We could also do like like a random of everyone gave it a shot type of thing too. So
I like that. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So I would say everyone keep playing, and we'll take some screenshots and throw you all in the random mixer and deliver some fake gotchis and everything. So I think go ahead, Show. A couple other questions are rolling in, including me, and I'm trying to juggle a couple things. I'll throw it back over to Show real quick.
Hey, it's me again. So, Rizzo wanted to know, how does the old Aavegotchi community feel about this direction? There's a lot of entrenched personalities. There's a lot of people who are bitter about certain things that were probably promised back in the day, or like they were too lazy to even do anything themselves. So this kind of initiative in a very fun and easily onboardable direction may just nonsensically piss them the fuck off. So how do you feel about that? I mean, or like, how do they feel about that?
Honestly, we haven't had that much of that. We had a little bit where people are like, not sure about, well, I'm getting wrecked right now. They're not sure about like the free to play aspect, or like, why do we have gotchis in that case? And then, but realistically, when we talk to them about it and we tell them, like, these are the potential ways that having a gotchi can benefit versus the free to play option. Like, for example, Spirit Force Arena is one way to put it. You can play the game as a noob. You would get like a naked gotchi, which is pretty low powered, and you can rank up to unlock heroes, right? And the heroes get more powerful as you go. But my gotchi has Spirit Force armor on it. It has a Spirit Force sword. It's got radar eyes. It's got like a mythical mohawk. I can connect to the game, and I will have those things. And I'm just not going to play this. This is getting okay. It's just so much noise. Sorry. Yeah, like you are preset to have an OP character in the game, and it's a character that will track its traits across all different games. So when you're playing as a free to play player, you're not going to be able to like save that progress. It's just like, hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to play, I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to bounce. I might be able to earn some tokens from it or whatever, but it's all going to be ephemeral. There's nothing lasting with me in my wallet other than those tokens, which I'm probably going to dump. So the way we're looking at it is like gamers, the ones that really want to play, will try and figure out the best way for them to play this game. So if they know that owning a gotchi is the best way to advance your profile, and the profile gets you badges and achievements, and this is all like soulbound stuff, so it's not like you can sell the profile. And on top of that, you can play to earn, and I hate using that phrase because it's just left a sour taste in people's mouths for some reason, but you can literally jump in the verse and play the game, and you'll get tokens out of it, call it what you want, and you can use those tokens to do other things. So the like use cases of those tokens is only going to go up. It's not going down. So essentially the people that have been around for this whole time and have been, petting their gotchis and farming and collecting elk and all that, they're happy enough because they know what's coming down the line. And the people that don't have, unfortunately, left, and it's understandable. There's been a fair amount of capitulation over the bear waves that we had. But seeing how we did compared to a whole bunch of other projects that I've been looking into, like, I like to keep my pulse on a few projects. We did very well, honestly. And I think part of it is to do with the fact that the bonding curve held us up really well over the bear. And we once we decoupled and we shut it down, we were actually we stayed supported because our community is pretty tight knit, and by that point we knew what was coming and we were very confident in it.
Speaking of onboarding people into this game, you made it very simple. You basically got rid of all the scary Web3 things for those who think that Web3 is scary. What are the pipelines that you're looking at in order to attract these people and onboard them to Gotchi Guardians? Like more specifically, how are you going to attract, shill, get people to actually get this game into their hands?
Also, one thing that we're looking at is that Gotchi Guardians looks like a very mobile-friendly game. So one of our long-term goals is to be mobile, on mobile and available in app stores. The other thing is that we're doing our best. We don't want to hide Web3, but we want to make it digestible. And I think the best way to do that is to like make the terminology a little less esoteric and to give people bites of information as they need it and in context of their games. Because once you explain to people, you know, like you own this asset, you have a receipt, they get that. You don't have to tell a person how a Swift transfer works. You just have to tell them that it works. And once they see it works, it works. If you show them that there's something better than a Swift transfer, that I can transfer money instantaneously overseas, no fees, essentially. Once it's proven, enough people are using it, you don't need to tell them how it works. It just works. So the goal is basically to just keep enough people on board and happy as we're progressing to this point, that we reach like critical mass and, you know, we're off to the races. The beautiful thing about mobile games is that since it's so accessible by millions just on their phone, if we don't like push the blockchain aspect too hard, unless it's like the paid part, like those microtransactions can just be paid in fiat. Like it'll still feed the blockchain side, but it doesn't have to be paid in blockchain, if that makes sense, because there are other ways to pay on those.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense, and I see the potential in that. Lastly, on Warpcast, which is also known as Farcaster, I've been getting a little bit more attention than I do on Twitter. When I tweet something out, it like no one sees it, not even people who follow me. It's like, I don't know, I'm like double shadow banned or something. But on Warpcast, I've been having really good conversations about the state of Web3 and gaming in general. What would you say is the thing that Web3 needs in order to get over the hump?
I think it's that esoteric terminology really that kicks us, because if we can just figure out how to communicate with the masses about the value without the technicals. Like, I don't need to tell the general public what an ERC 721 or 1155 is, you know what I mean? But once they know that it secures their assets, that's all that they need to be familiar with, essentially. I think really we just have to keep working at it. It's just making the games good, number one. Like, the technology is always progressing, right? So you guys remember what Gotchiverse 2D looks like. The 3D one is going to blow it out of the water, but that's only because we're figuring out ways to incorporate new workflows and new technologies and things. Moving from Phaser to Unity was a fairly big pivot and took quite a bit of resource, but it should pay out in its dividends like significantly, because building things in Phaser inherently was a slow process, and everything had to fit perfectly. It wasn't modular. But now that we're building in Unity, not only do we have a significantly larger dev resource in terms of the devs that know how to build in Unity, but Unity itself is becoming more and more blockchain friendly. So we can connect wallet and we can do transactions and do all this stuff if we want to.
Yeah, I'd just like to press pause on the questions, and we can keep them rolling in, but I want to make sure we get in some of the Spirit Force Arena. So let's head on over to the next game. And if you have questions for Thrax while we're booting in and everything, but want to get a taste of this other game here, and we're gonna try and figure out some way to throw out some prizes to everyone who took the time to download and participate in these things. So you want to get in that random draw for some of these fake gotchis. Make sure you hop on into these things. Yeah, so let's, if everyone wants to make the transition over to Spirit Force Arena, Thrax, Mycelium, I gotta say, like, as someone who's been, along with Aavegotchi since the beginning, and a big fan of the 2D Gotchiverse, and also with the understanding that there's a significant barrier to entry to the average person of, like, wrapping their head around that and participating and having fun with it and everything. It's interesting to see playing the opposite end of the spectrum and trying to really go for like the mass appeal thing, and then also try and like bridge that gap sort of between those two things, which is my understanding of what y'all are trying to do. So I'm a big fan of all of what y'all have been doing for a long time here, and the game looks dope. I'm excited to try the next one with people. You want to give people an overview? We'll hop into Spirit Force Arena, and we'll get that going. And in a couple minutes, we'll just pass over for any other questions that have been rolling in.
Yeah, sounds good. So Spirit Force Arena is basically a vertical battle royale. So all 10 of you are going to start on the map, hopefully in random places, and you're going to fight to the death. You can fly by double tapping space, but your boost is limited. Left click to shoot and right click to aim. Middle click switches your stance so that you can swap. Sorry about the car alarm in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. But middle click will let you switch stance from range to melee. So those are the basics. Then there are liquidator enemies roaming around. You don't want to fight those if you can avoid it. Those will give away your position and will hit you and get stronger if you kill them, so try and avoid. And then there are airdrops. So the airdrops are like weapons, special weapons basically. And if you can get your hands on one of those, you get very OP. I would strongly recommend trying to get one.
Rizzo, I was like you, man. I was always apprehensive of downloading these clients. I got into the Spirit Force Arena iteration through the Hyperplay last night. I've been in the earlier standalone version and accessed it through the Hyperplay platform last night. And I mean, there's still the debate of requiring users to download clients, but in terms of operation and smooth experience of the user, it does look like they're making headway. And so it's interesting to see if this is the direction the entire space is going. I'm kind of with you in that sense that I feel a lot of people working really hard in the design of the automatic transmission for crypto users. So we'll see how that plays out.
What really comes down.
Feels like. Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just like speaking from personal experience. Like it comes down to how much of like computationally how much you can do, because WebGL can only handle so much. So if you've got things like motion blur happening or like bloom or like glow or whatever, that's not going to happen. It's very difficult to get running in browser. So it's really a balance, right? Like I have my personal game, the Aavegotchi's game. We could run it in WebGL, but then you don't get any of the graphics. You don't get any of the the real, the stuff that makes it feel realistic. And I'm already pushing Unity to its limit, like with what we're doing. I'm trying to talk to my devs to see if we want to port to Unreal, but the way it currently functions, the tech doesn't exist for us to do everything in browser. I would love to do it that way, but as things progress, we can obviously upgrade.
For folks that are in and logged in via MetaMask or whatever they use to log in, and they're ready to go, are we going into Spirit Force Arena as the option? I'm clicking that, just not seeing any public games. Where should we direct folks?
there's some of us in here now. There's a if you click on the bottom thing in the middle that says Spirit Force, there's a lobby, and I managed to get in Paradox's lobby. And now, as I was talking to you, someone just killed me at point blank range. But like the show says, this is dope.
Yeah, man, they
Well, it
changed
looks
so much.
Yeah, I jumped into T-Bird with a few folks. Looks like we're starting in 140 seconds. So I don't know if anyone else is jumping in there. We can get started.
Let me just warn you to please run from T-Bird as fast as you can, friend.
Run from? Okay. I'm going to die very quickly.
He's put the time in.
Oh, so T-Bird is the host? Because he's not got his name up there. So he's player 63E36662. So run from that guy.
So I was going to say, Mike Calliam, to your point that what you were saying before, and I guess anyone can chime in, but I feel like the culture is sort of changing around like downloading clients in Web3 and the expectation of people to have them versus not having them. And I feel like it was something that was like really not generally accepted at all early on. But I don't know, as the landscape has changed and we're seeing like more sophisticated things come out there, I feel like it's becoming more accepted or more par for the course, or at least like isn't a an instant turnoff to people.
I wanted to follow up on something Sho said earlier that struck with me too, asking about if there's any players in the lurch that are a little like what's going on necessarily here, where are these angles going? I think it's a really unique project because we have Pixelcraft and we've got the Aavegotchi DAO, right? The Aavegotchi DAO's got no lack of Web3 enthusiasm and passion, and those are the ones that keep the project as close to the chain as possible. It's been really interesting for me to watch what Pixelcraft is building because these weren't DAO votes. These weren't things that the DAO initiated to see happen. This is Pixelcraft doing this on their own merits on our behalf to get us kind of boosted and launched into our gaming ecosystem. And then as Thrax is saying, it's almost an approach to work backwards into the Web3 integrations. Well, we've successfully been in the Hyperplay platform now for a little while, and then we've also explored inside the OneKin as a platform as well. And so I agree with you. I'm getting used to it.
Oh man, I immediately jumped off the side.
Well,
Is that fall damage still OP?
It's not as bad. No, it used to be real bad, man.
While people are murdering each other in spirit forces, I'm gonna throw the mic over to Sho, see if any other questions came rolling in, and then we can do some final thoughts here and wrap it up with a group shot.
Hey team, it's me again. We have I guess it's kind of a question. I'm just gonna rephrase it from Hidden Forces. He would like to know what is the team doing in order to deal with issues like handshake protocols when it comes to logging in to the game? Or is there like a quick fix for people who may not be within the major countries or continents and stuff?
So you're kind of asking super heavy questions. I'm not. I should be clear. I'm the media producer, so like I know some stuff, but like I might be wrong. In general, we found that things are a little bit clunky. Like when we're trying to do automatic handshakes, we're working with whatever partners we can to try and figure out a way to sign in without having to like constantly be opening browser wallets or log in like an extra dialogue if we can avoid it. but it's difficult. I don't know if that's answered your question. I don't know if that's what you're asking, to be honest. Like, so please let me know.
Well, Thrax, for the record, and for everyone else who's brand new to the whip, I am the dumbest person in the room, so that's why it's my job to ask questions because I don't know anything. So just consider yourself as like the smarter person in our back and forth, you know. And and for the record, you did answer the question. You definitely answered the question.
That's a nice humility there. I know we played around with Keep a little bit too, and yeah, email tends to be the bail around for wallet spin ups on the back end. It'll probably be something most likely like that.
There's recoil now. There wasn't recoil before. It's a lot harder. I'm getting wrecked, guys. I'm not. This isn't my standard play. I have excuses. Whether you believe them or not is on you.
That also answers a question in regards to whether or not the game is gamified by the creators. So now we know that the fight isn't fixed. So thank you for answering that question.
Oh, dude. Like the devs kind of get mad at us because they're like, you're not supposed to kill me. I made this.
We've got some crazy talented gamers inside of our ecosystem. People with talents that I have not known. I thought I was a gamer. I'm apparently a simple supporter.
You have any other questions come rolling in? Feel free to tag Thrax or Mycalium. Thanks, Mycalium, for sort of impromptu jumping on here as well. The game is still going hot. I see Dragonate is like not playing around. I took a quick snippet and dropped in the channel here. We're gonna throw it over to Paradox. Thanks everyone coming out today and catching the latest Aavegotchi updates and show digging in deep to figure out what the roadmap is and what's going on here, and also checking out some of these new games, which on first play are pretty dope. Honestly, as someone who appreciates games that are easy to just like sort of pick up and figure out and play. If y'all want to keep playing Spirit Forces, keep playing Gotchi Guardians. However, we should do a group shot to sort of commemorate this event. Where that is going to happen, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Paradox can give us a little direction before we cue that theme song.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Right, we're going to do, just so everyone can be in the same place, we're going to do the group shot in Hyperfy. So, Dragonate, if you're not busy killing people, load up that intro music, please. And everyone else,
Just a humble cameraman looking for a tiny bit of attention. It's me, Paradox. Get your asses in line and smile for the fucking camera. No one cares about Matthew and Rizzle, that's for sure. It's about me, Paradox. I'm taking over the show.
Okay, cool. So, final reminder, we're heading to Hyperfy, so get your asses there for the photo. Okay, right, let me start the spew. So, if you've not been listening, I am Paradox. I'm the resident whip videographer. This is the point with the show where we take a group photo and I collect some video. If you are new to the whip, I edit together a recap video of these events every single week, and they go out on Rizzle's Twitter, so keep an eye out for those. Okay, right, so let's all gather for this group photo. So, if you look stage left, and for those of you that don't know where that is, if you're on the stage facing outwards, it's left. If you're facing the stage, it's right. Well, we're heading over to the Aavegotchi kind of cool GIF, I guess, like a video. It's like an Aavegotchi flying through space with a rainbow behind him. We're heading there. So I want everyone to kind of be floating right in front of this video. Let's see if we can get people there. Whilst everyone gathers, follow the crowd. Dragonate, feel free to play some music. And I'll get doing my recording. Okay, any stragglers? Final call. Okay, cool. Okay, so base yourself right against that back wall. There we go. There we go. Gonna get some shots. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Ray. Lovely. Cool. Nice and easy one. Alright. That is it. Everything from me today. So until next week, that's out. Cheers, guys.
You guys have been awesome. Thank you for having us.
Yo, Thrax, thanks for coming out. Definitely, man. It's always great to have people up in here, and we try and keep it like this, man. Like, innovators who are doing interesting stuff across the landscape, who we know and trust to deliver stuff on the cutting edge here. And this fits the bill on the regular. So the parcel looks dope. Shout out. This is like a collab between Brookhawk, Metageist, myself, a whole bunch of the crew, and is always pitching in and putting the spot together. It looks like Times Square up in here. I think that's about everything for this week. Make sure you come back next week for Snail Pirate Adventure, A.L. Crago in the house. Sign the guest book. It's up on the stage, so you get that dope Aavegotchi inspired voxel ghost skateboarding from Fabiano Patrizia. And I probably missed something, but that's just about everything. Thank you all so much for coming out. And with that, I think we can pass it over to the show. I'll pass the mic over to Matt. You can correct me if I missed anything, and then we'll pass it over to the show for the afties.
Indeed, you missed something. Next week, we got 2 fake Rizzles in the house joining us on top of everything else that you said. So get ready for that. And without further ado, let's start those afties with show.
Wait, is this thing on? Yeah! Yeah!
It's time for the FTs.
Hot takes, opinions, thoughts. Let's go!
Hey yo, how's my audio? My 2x2, 5x5. What's up? What do you hear? What do you see? What are you doing?
Tittify.
Awesome. Stop touching yourself. I see you in the voice channel. Stop touching yourself right now. In case you were wondering, yes, I do air guitar every single time I hear my fucking theme song. I'm a fucking DJ. I'm gonna air guitar and I'm gonna air guitar and touch myself every time I'm doing DJ things in Web3. Yo, what the fuck is up? I'm your host, show you already know. If you don't know, you will know by the end of this thing. Brought to you, empowered by the WIP Meetup and myself and my depravities. Shout out to the presenters. If you have no idea what the hell this is about, this is basically the portion, the aspect, the thing of this thing where you share your opinion in the form of a hot take or ... an opinion. We have presenters present some cool ass shit. I always try to stay impartial because I don't want people thinking that I'm like getting paid under the table to say nice things and shit. But straight up, here's my hot take, man. Well, first hot take is like the WIP headquarters looks fucking dope. Shout out. I mean, I never congratulate the homies on all their hard work and stuff, but like it looks good. I mean, it always looks good. Like each week it looks good. For the record, this is just me, I guess, just saying it now just because, but it looks good. So shout out to you. Man, Web3 gaming is in a strange space. It's in a strange space. On Warpcast, I've been having like cool little fun little conversations because my shit is being seen, my voice is being heard. The loudest voice in the metaverse can have a space to scream and yell and actually be heard and shit post, and it's cool and it's fun. I said something about the top 3 blockchain behemoths, like the layer 2s, Ronin, Immutable, and then Wax. They all suck, and they're all they're doing horizontal acquisitions in order to stay afloat. I mentioned this last week, and it's still kind of the same thing. I said that, and then I was challenged by some people, not negatively. I was challenged, and I was like, you know what? You make some good points. I don't believe in any of them because they've been around for so long. So when it comes to Aavegotchi, I've had choice words about Aavegotchi too. I'm like, look, man, you guys have been around forever, and I'm not talking about the representatives of the games that were built that are part of the Aavegotchi community that are in the voice channel. I just mean in general. You guys have been for so long. You are some of the most loudest people in the space. You have many OG holders in the space. We also know that a lot of them bitch and complain, but a lot of OGs in the space bitch and complain. It's like, what are you doing in order to push the space forward? And when times are tough, when it's cold, you've experienced the cold winter, the previous cycle. So you should have the ideas, tips, and tricks. If you are Eskimos in this space, you should tell us how to ice fish. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Right? Instead of complaining, like, here's my overall thing when it comes to anytime there's a problem that's presented. And I learned this when I was younger, when I started dealing with a lot of just like conflict and stuff with people, or just like when trying to build things and create things, with other people in organizations. I'm like, hey, don't provide a problem and then don't provide a solution along with it. You are required to have already thought out a solution. At minimum, any solution, even if it's fucking ridiculous. Because even well thought out solutions are could be ridiculous as hell. Because they're going to be shot down anyway. Right? I mean, well, no, not anyway. Pardon me. I take that back. Depending upon the environment, depending upon who your team is, depending upon where you rank within the order of an organization that you're in, or any group dynamic. That's why here's a little tidbit to all the youngins in here who are looking to build things and own shit and deal with people. If you need to present something, make sure you have 3 things to present. Make sure your first idea is fucking terrible. It's a fake when it's terrible. Make it seem so well thought out. But just know that when you walk in that room, if you're not in the C-suite, if you're below, if you're middle management, if you're a creator, whatever, there's C-suite execs, there's a financial officer, there's somebody, right? Or if it's a consortium of talking heads, make sure that first one is the one that gets shot the fuck up, shot to death, and it's terrible. Then make sure your middle one is well, actually, depending on the strategy, you can play this either way. Make sure your middle one is the one that you really like, but you're gonna like gloss over. You're gonna flash it and then make it disappear. Like, oh yeah, and by the way, I also created this thing called Gotchi Guardians. It's it's a top-down tower defense thing. But yeah, but then also but here's my other idea too. It's this one. And make sure your second choice is your third one that's presented. Gloss over the good one. That's the second choice. You're psychologically messing with the motherfuckers who are seeking to bring you down that way in that room. Because then if there's more resistance, you cast them in a trap. A trap where it's like, oh, you're just here to hate on anything. Right? Because if you shot down the first one, make sure that you make them overexert themselves by shooting down the first idea. So if you're in the Gotchi DAO, right, and all the curmudgeons are there, make sure you exhaust them. Keep saying, but why? Why not? Why this? Exhaust the energy, right? Get there a little early energy, they just want to say no, get all that energy out. So then they're kind of exhausted by the second and third choices for the presentation. You hide that really good one, but you make casual references. They'll be like, oh, well, what's that? Oh no, this is. But then, oh yeah, but check out this idea. Oh my god, this idea is kind of cool. So then you have to divide the room. Whoever's shooting down the second good choice, you bring along whoever's like, yeah, I guess I can kind of see the parallels. I guess I kind of see how good that is. You know, and you have them counteract the haters in the room, and then have them exhaust them on your behalf. And then finally, towards the tail end, you make it seem like you're agreeable, and then you be like, oh wait, I have Gotchi Guardians. I have this thing, and then you do it extremely well. You do it extremely well. I was watching a K-drama that was called Agency. It was awesome. It was oh god, what's the lead actress's name? It's not Park Yoon Bin. Oh god, what's her name? She's fucking amazing. But it's not her, even though I love Park Yoon Bin. She's beautiful. She's awesome. She was the star of Extraordinary Attorney Woo, which is another awesome K-drama. But there's this K-drama called Agency, and right from the gate, she's shitted on and attacked by the entrenched incumbents who were like, they were threatened. They want to use her as a proxy, and she fought her way tooth and nail. They didn't realize that she had a superhero origin story where her mom was being chased by an abusive dad. And then her mom abandoned her, and then she had an abusive aunt, so it's double the abuse, so she can take abuse from people. So then when she comes into the agency, she's like, I'm already a superhero when it comes to being a creative, like Thrax, being creative and also being abused in the Web3 space, like mycelium. Abuse and entrenchment. So then she makes her way up because like she starts weeding through the people. Her secretary is a mole that she converts over to her side. She splits everybody in half literally, and she fires everybody who's abusive in the space while keeping everybody who was cool, and then she starts pitting people against each other. It's awesome. My point is, in Web3, this is the parallels, the same thing, whether it be the Ronin ecosystem with a terrible fucking thing that's going on with Axie Homeland, whether it be, well, and then they also brought on pixels, doesn't make any sense. Whether it be Immutable, that no one knows what the hell Immutable is doing, but yet it's here. It had Gods Unchained, but then it lost its trading card game dominance, and it's not fun. And then they also bring on other games, and they're not fun. Then there's Wax. No one knows what the fuck Wax is doing. Like literally, no one knows. They haven't done anything since 2022. And Warsaken is like they fucking like, what the fuck is Warsaken do? And then there's all these other Web3 games that don't make any damn sense that people keep like shilling and whatever. But then I'm not gonna talk about the Dark Horse Parallel. We invited them to come to the WIP. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. I hope that they still somehow, some way, one of those motherfuckers can come. But my point is, when it comes to people saying, "Hey, we had enough of the boredom of the terrible vagueness, the blase blah," I want to show you my second option in this presentation, which is actually my first option because it's the best option, and that's Gotchi Guardians. It's fun. You don't need to onboard anyone from Web3. You don't need to own the product. It's almost against being a DJ, and I get it. It's like you need to bring them along. You have to soft them up. You're a wet noodle in the bedroom. It's all gummy, and you're just crossing your fingers and hoping that she is a team player and will get you over the line. Because once she's over the line, then it's like, hey, there's a payoff here. Oh, by the way, if you're into pubes, you can get that later on. There's a big splash of payoff at the end, depending upon how much time has been invested into this wet gummy that we call Web3. I don't know if you're interested in my vulgar references, but welcome to the Acties. Thoughts? What are your thoughts? Unmute your microphones. Thoughts.
The vulgar references are the only things we're here for.
I'm here for Web3 shit. I'm here for Web3 shit. The vulgarities just keep me going in the cold nights when there's nothing going on in the space.
When I'm lonely, I just need a little bit of web, baby.
You damn Skippy, I'm shooting webs like Spider-Man. And it's in 3D, it's VRM webbing I'm shooting. You know what's fun is how we spoke it into existence, how we spoke VRMs and the power of 3D shit. It's almost like, we were into wearables and into putting QR codes onto physical items in the real world. It's almost like we wanted virtual worlds in the crypto space. It's kind of almost like we wanted that. So now we're actually doing it, and people were like, oh shit, hey, whatever the fuck, I'm gonna keep shitting on this motherfucker until somebody fucking smacks the shit out of him on my behalf because he let me down, man. When will Ben Nolan get the fucking point? This is gonna be every week. Until this motherfucker, because the tweets and the people liking the tweets, when will he get the fucking point? You let us down, dude. You let us down. You left Decentraland in order to make crypto voxels. No one remembers that shit. And then you let it the fuck down. And then when I look at this awesome build in Hyperfi, I'm like, dude, this could have been you stupid fuck. Shit, you incorporated wearables that were voxelized. You had a market.
We trusted you.
Trust in a trustless damn state. This is why it's to be trustless. The motherfucker wash trading his own land parcels.
Damn wash traders. Couldn't wash their way out of a paper bag.
He needs to wash his ass and wash his nostrils from whatever the fuck he's been snorting, making him believe that crypto voxels is even a viable product at this point. Then he fucking tweets out, oh, you know what? Like, he said some shit where he was just like, I get it now. I think that I'm just not gonna make I'm not gonna do anything on crypto voxels. I'm just gonna vibe. I'm like, sir, you've just been vibing for 4.5 years. That's what it feels like. You had an entire team of loyalists who were begging, pleading to fucking press a button on the damn thing. It's the same thing with Web3. It's like Trung. Oh God, I'm naming names, right? I'm naming names on fucking Ronin. Oh God, fuck it. Trung getting into fights with Cloud White. They're subbing each other in tweets and then openly attacking each other. The proof is in the pudding, man. The shit failed. The shit didn't work. It didn't make any sense. I don't know. You can't keep saying that Ronin is the number one something when it's not. I get it. Speaking into existence, but you're throwing your weight around. Rumble Kongs. I think they brought in Rumble Kongs, but they didn't actually bring in the game client. They only brought in the ecosystem, and then Cyber Kongs, and then it's. You see what I mean? I'm just here to play games. But you're making it like the game is not the actual game. It's like this is Ready Player One, but like the inverse. It's like this is BDSM 1. Ready Player BDSM. This is non-consensual. You're beating the shit out of me in a fucking shit. It's cold enough. We're still in a crypto winter lull. All the things passed. All the legislation passed. We won in court. There's ETFs. You have BlackRock shilling ETF commercials. It should be up. It should be mooning. I don't know why the moon ain't. It's not mooning. I don't know. I don't know what's holding it back. I don't know why nothing is mooning anymore. This is not what happened in 2021. I mean 2022. This is not what happened. This shit don't make any sense anymore. Who has their finger on the button and they're not letting it up? Thoughts? Yes, emotional. Man, listen. Let me look. Words to the wise. for everybody who's here, when I tell you that the slow bleed is real, the slow fucking bleed of all OGs, if you're OG in a space, you have experienced the slow liquidity bleed. Don't fucking lie to me. Don't lie to me. You didn't catch whatever random frog token that Big Boy was shilling as the only thing that mooned last year. This is the slow bleed. The slow bleed is the one that you watch bleeding, not the one that it's like, oh, it just suddenly happened. Am I lying? Unmute your microphone. Thoughts. I don't mean to scare you if I scared you out the voice channel, but hey, man, thoughts.
The slow bleed is definitely painful. It's a reality.
This isn't complaints.
It's like people scared. People just don't care anymore. It's a big mix of both.
Someone casted on Warpcast, on Forecaster, that, oh my god, New York City, well, no, actually, no, they said Soho, Williamsburg, and already I rolled my eyes because I'm like, dude, if you're a transplant and you're like, oh my god, Soho, Williamsburg, 2024 has trumped San Francisco 2017. I'm like, dude, like in terms of crypto vibes, Soho and Williamsburg in 2024 is way better than San Francisco 2017. Motherfucker, I was in the afties. I was in the after hours, drunk off my ass, talking about this shit, having full-on arguments, being kicked out, screaming about this shit. You don't know vibes? You're talking about 2024. You're like 4 years late from when this shit was popping. I was out here in these streets, wilding, talking about this shit. Like me and this one dude got mad at me because I was like, what the fuck, did I show him Coin Market Cap? And like he was talking about his shit, and he was like, yeah man, yeah, like he was a big dude. He was bigger than me, and he was big and taller than me. And I was looking up at him. I was like, do you know about this shit? Dude, I was that meme. I was literally that fucking meme. I was like, do you know about this? You don't know about this. I'm telling you. So when someone cast that, I'm just like, oh my god. It's like they don't. What I'm trying to say is that they don't know that the vibes were already happening. That we've already gone through this whole oh my god, your friend is in crypto? Like, oh my god, your friend has an ape? Oh, we're beyond those conversations. It's like the disdain, the disgust has already happened. So now everybody who's chilling and vibing, they know the vibes. You got friends with benefits who's been going fucking crazy. That whole squad. Like they went through so many iterations that I mean, like they're just in the mix, fucking wilding the fuck out all the time. They kicked out Koopa Troopa 3 years ago for being a fucking racist, and now he's casting on Warpcast, trying to give advice on all kinds of things that people love him. But whatever, and he also did us dirty by being the only person who sent in a recorded presentation for the WIP. Don't ever fucking do that in your life. Don't ever disrespect all these people that's in this voice channel right now by ever thinking that you're so high and mighty that you would send in. Don't ever do that, and then you hop on weak ass Twitter Spaces. There's a lot of aggression. I'm scaring people. I'm scaring the hoes. You're talking about crypto things. You're talking about Web3 gaming. Oh my god, you're a gamer. Oh my god, you're a crypto gamer. That's those are two things that are. Oh my god, are you an incel? No, I'm not an incel. This is not. There's no overlap between being an incel and being into crypto and a Web3 gamer. I think there's a clash of ideology. It just doesn't work. Tell me, am I lying? Because you haven't seen it. There's no red pill anything. You get your ass kicked. The proof is in the coding. The proof is dead ass in the coding. You think I'm playing? Shit. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to this edition of Proof in the Coding. I am your next presidential candidate. This is my spiel. I have what's that guy's name? Vinyasa Yoga with Ramaswamy trying to talk for crypto. Fuck that guy. He's the only incel I know trying to talk about some crypto. That's the only. And you saw how it doesn't make any sense. He dropped out the race. It doesn't work. I rest my case. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to this edition of the Athlete. Shout out to our presenters presenting presentable things. Shout out to the entire leadership team at meme.com for doing all kinds of meme coin things and all kinds of cool shit. Hey, shout out to the WIP crew. You know, I love each and every single one of you. Hey, by the way, if you know someone or if you are someone who is looking to participate in the WIP, if you are good at like shilling and corralling people from different communities from all walks of life who are maybe interested in getting this kind of experience of being brought into a dope ass Web3 builds, who's interested in having conversations with people who are literally building in the space, who's interested in hearing some tongue-in-cheek, fun, semi-comedic, vulgar, wild, very different voices and opinions on subjects that you're not getting in your normal Twitter spaces because they're being too politically correct in order to appeal to some boomer-esque venture capitalist sort of norm that's kind of American and sick in a weird way, that's kind of anti the space that you're in. Come to the WIP. Bring them on. We're looking for people who's down to shill the shit and talk about why it's cool as hell, and bring them here to listen to this. The more the merrier. I don't know about payment or whatever. It's not about payment. I mean, I get it, shit. Like, you get what you pay for, but hey, if you're just like, yo, if you're cool about that shit, we had an awesome shiller in my boy Timmy. Timmy's no longer around. Timmy will go into every server and corral, and then also like respond, tweet, and stuff like that. That's what I mean. That's all it is. So I'm not good at it. If I was, then I would do it, but I'm really not a fan. If I was, then I would have empowered so many communities that I've either created or been involved in. But that's besides the point. Last but not least, WIP crew, you know I love each and every single one of you. WIP fam. WIP fam, you got the deets, you got the information, you got a ton of alpha, you got things that you don't fucking get anywhere else. Much love, and I'll see you later.